Uh, Hello, everyone. Who is watching right now? Hi. Welcome back to Angular Space TV. Yeah, we're doing another one. This is actually our 10th live stream. That's a big number. I couldn't believe we would get here so fast. It's just November. I think we did our first live stream in October. Hey. So, yeah. And the last 9 live streams actually taught me one thing that uh, more than anything, you, our precious viewers, love to see me code something with Angular. Uh, hey, by the way, on the last live stream, Logan Dupont, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I wanted to ask which football team you like because you said you were watching football too. I forgot to ask it during the live stream. Uh, so yeah. Uh, so today I'm gonna do some coding, a bit non-conventional, although I will try to keep it as angular as possible. We're going to do some things with the Gemini API. We're going to do some AI development, very fancy. We're going to implement some features beyond just simple text generation and actually see how well it plays with Angular. Because I was thinking that now we have all of this like reactive capabilities, signals, resources, and everything. And AI APIs like LM APIs, they provide you with a bunch of things that you can use sort of uh, reactively, like for example, streaming text content, or I suppose you probably can also stream like generated images. So there is a lot of stuff to discuss there. And also these APIs are kind of complicated. So making them work with Angular is also an important thing. So it's relatively easy to write code that works, but it's a bit harder to write codes that is actually like reasonably maintainable, let's say. So yeah, and also I'm going to show some approaches. We're going to generate something with Gemini in the chat. We're gonna paste it somewhere, use it in our code. Maybe also use the Copilot agents to generate some stuff. So yeah, I have a small project prepared. Hi, Jerome. I think I will need your help at some point. Yeah, I have something prepared, so maybe it's time for me to share my screen. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right, so I have made a small project. Right now it doesn't do much. It just has this page that allows to generate some text. Then press enter. We get something from Gemini. It's not even a chat. It's just you put some text here and you get something out of it. And yeah, we're going to build something on top of this. But before that, let's take a look at this project. I also want to kind of put this project on GitHub, maybe after the live stream, so people can check it out. Oh, wait, let me talk about football for a moment before we move on. Brugge fan. I am a Bayern Munich fan, so yeah, we did recently meet. PSG, yeah, we also played against PSG. It was a great game. Oh, I'm very happy with the result. Yeah, they were from Belgium. Nice to know. Okay, thank you. Yeah, back to generative UIs, okay, and Gemini. So yeah, here's my screen. back on. So yeah, we have this project, and it's just a very, very simple Angular project. We have package.json. We're on 20.2. I don't know, does 20.2 have... No, it doesn't have signal forms, right? I don't care that much for it. We're not going to do signal forms. If you have read my latest article, I do like a generative form using signal forms and Gemini. So in my article, you can check that one out. I have like a text box where the user can define the form they want to get. That could be useful in terms of like if you have a product that simulates Google Forms, for example. There you have to like painfully input all your fields and say this one is a drop down, this one is a text field or whatever. But using this AI capability, you can sort of give the user a text box, they can describe their form, and then you will generate it with the preview where they can play around, see if it's what they actually want. So yeah, you can check that example out. We'll do something with forms, but not entirely with forms. And not with signal forms. So yeah, we have Angular things here, and we also have Google Gen AI. And for it to work, I have this very, very simple server.js file where I am using the Express library to have just one simple endpoint. I will show it now. So if you are completely unfamiliar with Gemini APIs, you have this Google Gen AI library. It's essentially an SDK for building with Google AI stuff. So you can just import this Google Gen AI class, create your instance, and then just play around with it. And with Express, I'm just allowing myself to have one post endpoint where I can send user requests and then generate content and send it back. So yeah, to generate content, you will use this generate content feature. You have like ai.models.generate content. And I try to make this endpoint as, let's say, generic as I can. I will try my best not to write any new endpoints. I'm not going to write like Node.js code, backend code. Essentially, I'm just going to make some requests to this API. And this API allows me to do both like normal text generation and structured output. We'll talk about structured outputs a bit later. And then I will just plug the response from Gemini out and send it to the front end. Okay. And in the front end, I have this Gen AI service, which is, let me maybe increase my screen size. I hope this is better. Oh, well, I can check the comments and see if people are complaining. No one is complaining. Yeah, so this is a marvelous service, I would say. So what it does, it actually has just one method, the generate method, but I made it a bit more complex, but not complicated. It's actually super easy to use. What it does, it just calls our endpoint on the backend, generate endpoint, and sends like the user's prompt and maybe a JSON schema for structured outputs. Okay, so there isn't much going on here actually. And then in my component, which is fully 100% vibe coded, it's not good code, we're going to change this code. I have this HTML where I have an input, and when I press enter, I will just invoke this method and make the HTTP call, generate content. There is all this loading stuff here. We're going to remove it. We're going to use a resource, right? We can use Rx resource for this, and maybe the very first thing we need to do is actually change that and use an Rx resource. And yeah, then we can just use the data that comes from it. This vibe coded stuff is really not good. We have like this generated content signal, which is like imperatively set from this subscribe method. Actually, let's start with kind of changing that. So we need a signal that is a resource. We don't need loading and error. We can delete this safely, and also this, and this, and we don't need error handling here. Yeah, what we want to is actually like pick this stuff up and create an Rx resource. Rx resource, and I again have to remember, yeah, params, and here we're going to do something like prompt this prompt. This makes sense, I think. And then we're going to stream. Let's disable the completions for a moment, right? I finally learned the place where I can click this button and it will disable AI completions for a moment, because they really, really get on my nerves. Here we have the params. We can do the, we can just do the Generative service params not prompt. Wait, what did I do wrong? Generated content. Oh wait, I messed this up. I needed to put it here, right? Yeah, let's turn it into proper resource, and this is just a signal. Prompt. Yeah, this is not a signal, I guess. Yeah. But we're actually missing one piece here, because we need to do something like if params.prompt. If we don't have a prompt, if we have a prompt, we do this, return our HTTP call, and otherwise we return undefined. If I remember correctly, that was how it was supposed to work, but no. Did it change? Ah, wait, maybe of undefined, something like this. I hope this works. Now we don't actually need this. But maybe the trim function did something there. We can add trim back here. And then in the HTML, we don't have this function. We will just do generated content.reload on input if generated content has value here. Wait, did I has value? Wait, this is outright wrong. We don't need this. And this needs to be somewhere here if generated content. Wait, generated content dot is loading. Generated content dot has error. Yeah. That has value. Yeah, but we already checked this here. What was here? Not loading. Yeah, we don't need these checks. We can just do generate content dot value. Yeah, I think this should work. Let's check if it continues working the same way. Hello. Now we have a problem. We have a problem. But what sort of problem? Do we actually perform an HTTP call? Nope. Let's see what I did wrong. I have generate content dot reload. So it should reload now. And we have prompts connected to. Oh, wait a minute. I think I actually have the forms module here. I don't think this actually works. I have to do something like ng model equals prompt. Yeah, let's retry. Oh, wait, now it's generating content outright. Oh, yeah, this is the hard part of working with resources where you need them to trigger on some sort of other event. Like we could do, you know what, we can forgo this. We can just do this dot prompt, this dot prompt, and not this trim. We don't need params here, and yeah, maybe this should work. Okay. All right, it generated something. Not what I wanted exactly, but it did it. So here's a lesson about Rx resource. We're talking about Gemini, but let's forget about it for a moment. We're talking about resources. Actually, if you want an imperative resource, so you want to trigger it manually, and when I say manually, I mean like on some event, for example, in this case, when the user presses the enter button, you need to entirely forgo this params. You don't need the params. Instead, you need to just provide the stream, check if whatever you are depending on works the way you expect. Like in this example, we don't want to send any request if the user hasn't entered a prompt. And this also prevents the HTTP call from happening when the resource is initially created, right? So we don't have HTTP calls, I think, initially. Let's refresh the page. Yeah, no calls, no calls. Yeah. Hi, Michael. I'm back to reading comments. Can you tell me what are we building? We are building some generative UIs with Angular and Gemini. So what I mean by saying generative UI, I want to accomplish something that is a bit more, a bit beyond just generating text. So the example that we're right now seeing is just generating text. We want to go beyond. We want to be able to ask the Gemini API to give us some commands in JSON, essentially, of what we want to render in the UI, and then render that in the UI. Okay, it's a bit of an obscure thing right now, but I believe in the future generative UIs will be pretty big. Imperative resources are cool. All right. I mean, yeah, the way we define them is kind of a bit confusing, right? So, okay, you don't put in params. Makes sense. You don't depend on anything automatically. Right. That makes sense. But then you need to do a bunch of like if statements and say like, okay, if this exists, do the HTTP call. If not, return undefined or whatever. It a bit. I think that API could be slightly better, but it kind of makes sense. We know how to do that, so yeah. It is useful. Sometimes you don't have this ideal stream of this changed, and then you make this HTTP call. Instead, you're like, when the user presses this button, we could go like the very far-fetched way. We could define something like an event stream of an observable, then cast it to a signal, then pass it to Eric's resource. That would be messy. I don't even care. Do you think it would make a wrapper for imperative resources with the custom resource snapshot API that is coming? I've read about the snapshot API and didn't understand what it accomplished. Well, to be honest, I didn't read it very carefully or attentively for that matter. But I think we can make resource wrappers right now, no? Does the snapshot API make it easier? And I really don't want to rail away and start talking about resources, but it's very interesting. I will read about the snapshot API later. I promise. Yeah. So the thing about this code is that I think the value here that we are displaying has something like response, yeah, because the API is returning response that has a string, yeah. So we can, if we go back, if we close this and look, have something like tell me a joke, generating content. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. Like, AIs are absolutely terrible at humor and jokes, but whatever, this works now. So essentially, yeah, we get a JSON object from the backend. So it's something like response, which is a string, and then we just like use it from the resource we had. So yeah, this makes sense, but it's just text generation. Okay, it's just text generation. So maybe instead, what we could do is talk about structured outputs, right? Structured outputs. So what are structured outputs? If you go to an LM chat window, like if you go to, let's just open Gemini, I have it on my hands, and say something like, give me a JSON object that has first name and last name. Why did I choose the Pro version? Whatever, it was fast. So yeah, so LM APIs and LMs in general very capable of generating JSON objects. There's a lot of speculation that they are actually even like better at working with JSON. Sometimes we would do things like passing JSON objects as prompts instead of like free text. We would do something like system instruction and role and constraints, stuff like that in a JSON, and then send that JSON to an LLM. But there is one issue with this JSON generation when you are not working in a chat window like we're doing right now, but instead when you want to use that JSON in your code. So essentially, you like right now we are making an HTTP call to our server that generates contents via Gemini. And of course, we could write a prompt that said, give me this or that JSON object. All right. And that would be okay, but there is a big problem, and you can see that problem right here on the screen because, for example, I have this config in my Gemini private chat that it provides me with a TLDR description of what it does. But even if I didn't have it, usually for this request, it would start with free text and say something like, okay, here is the JSON you asked for, and so on. And in the past, people used to fight it by begging in the prompt, saying stuff like, yeah, I want to have only this JSON, please don't give me anything other than this JSON, and stuff like that. It didn't work. It worked, but not very, very well. Like, for example, like 98% of the time it would work, but sometimes there was nothing on earth preventing Gemini and any other LM for that matter from kind of hallucinating a bit and moving away from your instruction and actually giving you a string that is not a valid JSON. Okay. And that's bad. So they came up with a special API, which is called structured output, where you can just tell it with the JSON schema. The open schema is called or something like that. You can tell that you want this exact format of JSON, and then LM will 100% guaranteed return you a text that is actually that JSON. You can parse it and you can use it like an object. All right. So let's see how it works. And so on the backend, you don't need much. Where is my, yeah. So here, what you have to do, you just have to provide a response MIME type, and you just need to say that it's application JSON. This, in our case, we just send it from the front end. And then you need to provide the response JSON schema. In this case, we also send it from the front end. This is a one-all be-all endpoint. We don't do anything here on the back end. I just wanted to show you that essentially you have to provide this config, these fields for it to work. This will be application JSON, and this will be the JSON schema that we want it to work. So if we go to the service, GenAI service that we have, here I have created a type that kind of defines what this structured output schema have to look like. You should have to provide a type, then you have to provide the properties, which is a record. We will try this out just a little bit later. And then you need to provide a list of required fields. Some fields are required, some fields you can tell the LLM to kind of skip. So yeah, here we have a big overload. I absolutely love this. If you want a quick explanation, here is that like I have two cases. In one case, I want plain text. I want just free text like we have right now. And in other case, I want JSON. I want structured output. So I have two scenarios. Either I have plain text, so response MIME type is text plain. And in some other cases, I want application JSON. So if I put response MIME type as text plain, or if I omit it, I can omit it. It will just accept the prompt, because in this case, the prompt is enough. I can just send the prompt. I can get the generated output, which would be just text. But if I provide application JSON, now I will have to provide a JSON schema, okay, a structured output schema. And in that case, I would have to provide that. So this is the implementation. And notice this is actually a fantastic thing I didn't know you could do with TypeScript. You could make your function generic conditionally. So in this case, if I have the generate function with response MIME type text plain, I don't have a generic option here, and my return type is just observable response string, because we have text plain here. We don't have objects. But if I provide application JSON, I want it to be type safe, at least in some way. And in that case, I will have to provide the schema. And then if you see this is a generic type, I need this to work. And the return type will be whatever I provide here. Okay. So yeah, and in terms of anything else, I just compose the body and send it, right, to this endpoint we have. But with application JSON, in the case of this MIME type, if there is a JSON schema provided, so the developer wants to get structured output, we shall have a response that is JSON parsed from the text response we get from the backend as this type T. And it actually is type safe. We'll try it out after I come back and check the comments for a moment. Oh, Ryder explains my news a bit, but yeah, I think it makes custom resources more formal. Oh, that's great. I will read it. I will read it. Okay, let's see how the structured output thing works, because I have a fun example about it. Let's do just a small one to get used to it. So let's say I'm not a very good guy, and I don't want to get just the prompt here, just the text. I want the text to be wrapped in an object. I want to get, instead of hello from the LLM, I want to get something like answer hello. Okay, I want to get something like this. So how would I do that? I would do that by providing response MIME type application JSON and a response JSON schema. So now I have to provide a type, which will be type.object. Oh yeah, if you're not familiar with this type.object, essentially Google GenAI provides you with this type enum, which contains all the JSON schema types you could put here. So you have like integer, boolean, array, number, whatever, string. So in this case, we want an object from the backend, from the LLM, actually. Let's just turn this off again for a moment. So yeah, here we're asking for an object, and we want it to have properties. Yeah. like answer, which is type.string. And we need to say that the answer is required. Am I doing it right? I think I messed up something, but no. Looks like I'm doing fine. Required, yeah. Sir, what's wrong? That's from my tab, which is the creator on tab. Yeah, right. I need to provide the TypeScript actually saved me here for a moment. What used to work? So what happened here is that when I provided, as I mentioned, the response MIME type as application JSON, now TypeScript forced me to provide this type argument here, because TypeScript was like, okay, if you are loading JSON, I better know what type of JSON you are loading. So yeah, this is a very really cool thing that TypeScript allows us to do, conditional generic types. Yeah. So what's wrong here? Or why is this complaining about whatever? Right. Type. Wait. Type. I need to do this. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Answer. We have essentially what we did here. We said that, okay, I want an object that has the following properties. Answer, which is of type string, and the field answer is required. So if I have optional fields, I can have, of course, more fields than just this one. And here we can just mention fields that are required and not mention the ones that are optional. Okay. Let's see if it works. Oh, yeah, I forgot to switch my screen. So okay, I'm gonna show it. Of course, I messed up. Okay, I was showing this part. Man, I don't even know where I trailed off. Okay, I was showing this response JSON schema. Okay, I will just repeat it, showing it. I can ask the Gemini API to give me a JSON object, a guaranteed JSON object. And all I have to do for it is I have to provide the signature of that object. I need to describe what sort of object I want. So here, essentially, I say I want an object which has the following properties, for example, answer, which is of type string. And the field answer is required. Okay. And this application JSON, we did a trick with TypeScript when I put response MIME type, particularly application JSON. It requires me to put this type argument, and if I don't do it, I will get an error. Well, I at least used to getting an error, but it's somehow gone now. Yeah, I can provide it here, and now the generated content I get here, our resource will be of type response answer string. Okay. And yeah. So now if we go here and type something again, let's do this. Hello. Yeah, now we have an object, which is great. It means this works. Here we can do that answer. Or actually, for good measure, let's use the JSON pipe. So we can just see the fields. Hello. Yeah, here we got this JSON from the LLM. And we can also do, you can do a lot of fun stuff. You can kind of like generate different things. For example, we can do, and the fun thing, you don't actually need to give anything in terms of the prompt. You don't need to write a prompt. The prompt here in the backend that we have, we essentially just take the prompt from the front end and send it to the LLM. And the prompt we send from the front end is essentially what the user has typed. We just pick the signal up and trim its value and send it to the Gemini API. So essentially, you don't need to type stuff like, oh, please give me this format of JSON, and if you don't give it, or if you start the message with some free text, or if there is anything other than JSON, someone will die and stuff like that. People used to do these sort of things in the past. And the fun thing is that actually these names of fields are kind of like also descriptive. They're also kind of part of the prompt. For example, if I do something like formal response and casual response, and maybe like do something like medieval response. I think medieval response. Let's see what it generates. Hello. Wait, what? Return error. That's not an error instance. What did we do wrong? We didn't. Yeah. We forgot about this. We need to repeat the required fields here. I think that was the problem. Did our backend stop working? Let's just restart it. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. We got now like 3 different responses for 3 different situations. Could be useful for something. And yeah, we didn't type anywhere that, you know what, dear LLM, you need to generate something in a medieval style. We just named a field medieval response and just allowed the user to send anything, and it kind of worked. So we have a formal responses like greetings, casual response, okay, hey there. So these field names that you provide in the JSON schema, they are also descriptive and kind of like prescriptive for the LLM. LLM uses it to generate. So how you name your fields is actually important. Nice question. When I see Gen UI stuff like this stream or the Angular Gen UI stream, it is normally getting stuff. Are there times where there is a mutation now with some Gen UI API? I don't think so. The only reason I picked the prompt post example is that I didn't want to bother with query parameters, and because I wanted to send the JSON schema from the front end, which isn't something that in real life you would actually do. Okay, you would probably just send the prompt, and the JSON schema will be somewhere in the backend. But I wanted to have a front-end only discussion. So the endpoint is very dumb. It just receives everything it needs for the text generation and just does it. So for this only reason, I just picked posts so I can just wrap everything in an object and send it to backend. I don't care about. I thought I might run into issues with putting the JSON schema into the query parameter and so on, and I decided I can just do a post request. But yeah, you're right. Get requests absolutely makes sense for content generation, especially if you don't have any logic like this in the front end. So yeah, I don't think there are any mutations that you could do with generative UI APIs. Maybe there is this. It's a bit, of course, a more advanced topic. You can have like response caches and system instruction caches in the in your Gen AI instance. That way, like it would cache parts of your prompt, and it will give you discount because you know that you're getting charged for making this AI text generations. Gemini can give you like discounts when you do repeated prompts like this, or parts of the prompts, because it doesn't have to load it into the memory. It already has it cached. So you do get some small discounts for that. And there is an API for invalidating that cache, because sometimes that might be problematic. I haven't run into any issues with that. Most of those caches are implicit. But yeah, you have a way of like loading things into the Gemini cache. It's your own sort of cache. And if you want to invalidate that cache, there's an API for that too. So yeah, maybe there are some like kind of mutations that you can do with Gen AI, but not beyond that. Okay. So yeah, another example that I want to kind of do from scratch to show how easy it can be to work with these sort of things is an example I showed recently on JSConf Armenia. There's a video that you can go and watch, but it won't be very useful for most of our viewers because it's in Armenian. But essentially, the example there is we can use the structured outputs to kind of tweak a bit our UI when it comes to forms and big forms. Essentially, the idea was that you have this list of products and you have some filters, and it could be anything. It doesn't need to be products. That was just the example that I used. So you have this list and you have the filters, and kind of like putting all those filters is a bit tedious. Like you have to. It was a clothing store example, so you had like you choose the cloth type, like a t-shirt or pants or whatever, and then you choose a color, and then you choose a size, and then you maybe tweak a price or whatever. And what I was doing instead with structured outputs was that, like, okay, here's the signature of my form, here's are all the fields, here are all the possible values, like if you have a drop down or whatever, and there is a text box. The user can type. The filters are still there, but they don't need to manually check them. The user can just go on and type like, I don't know, red jackets, average price, whatever, and the fields in the filters will be auto-filled by the response from the LLM, and the user doesn't need to like manually select all the boxes, which I thought was kind of like a neat UI. I think I probably have seen this on Amazon, because when you go on Amazon and uh, type a more robust search query, something like, I don't know, new HP laptop with I don't know, this and that parameters. Some of those fields are getting extracted from a search query, and you can see them like in the filters on the sidebar, and it's like a neat feature. And now you can easily do that with LM APIs. All right. Okay. Before we go, another question from Michael. Another random question. Any thoughts on the AI RFC? Anything people mentioned that you want to see, or do you have any thoughts on it for work like this? I have to confess, I haven't read it yet. I'm doing mostly AI stuff right now, not much Angular things going on. I try to keep it all alive with this Angular plus Gemini series, both on articles and on now on live streams. But yeah, it was on my like to-do list to read the RFC, and I didn't, but I will. Okay. Okay. So yeah, what we're going to do, let's create like a table of products. We don't have a component. We're going to make a brand new component, and let's load like 100 products, which are whatever. Okay. First, let's define an interface. Like, let's define our product type. Okay. Let's do a new file called product.type.ts. And here we can do something like export type product. And a product has, I don't care about the ID, it has a name, has a price, obviously. I don't care about the description. It has like a type, which is maybe like a phone, a laptop or tablet, and maybe. What else fascinating can the product have? Let's add just like one more field, like maybe something like like manufacture, and maybe like let's throw in a color. Like, yeah, these are the colors. Yeah. So we want a table with this sort of products. But before that, we need to make some mock data. And we can just do it with the usual like Gemini API. We can go on and say something like, oh, wait. Yeah, actually having a rating is also a good suggestion. I will show why. Thanks, Michael. Let's have a review rating, which is number 1 to 5. Let's see how it works. Number 1 to 5. Let's say give me 50 JSON items in a JS array which satisfy this interface. Let's go. Yeah, I really shouldn't have clicked on 2.5 Pro here. This is not a reasoning task. Okay. Why is it all the same? Oh, why is it doing so slowly? Yeah, it's done. Okay. Let's do something like a new file mock products.ts, and here we'll have const products array, which equals to this not very smart array. Yeah, whatever. We have phones, we have prices, we have, sorry. Yeah. What's wrong here? Property review rating. We added that later. You know what? Map, product, review rating. Yeah. I love these little moments when AI perfectly understands what I want. Now we're just assigning like random ratings to the mock products. Now let's open up the. Now I'm using Cloud Sonnet 4.5. Sorry, not Gemini here, but yeah, whatever. Generate an Angular component that shows a table with these mock products. No pagination. Maybe it would have this idea of adding it. We'll add the filters later. I tried to like do one thing at once. Yeah. I'm purposefully not showing the generations that it's doing right now. Wait. Yeah, I think it's onto something. Okay. Created product table component TS. Why did you import common module? Because you have, like, you're doing ngIfs again. Yeah, you're doing ng4. Do not use ng4. You have control flow syntax. Actually, there is one complaint I have right now, because when I created this project with ng-new, it asked me which like AI coding tool I was using, and I mentioned I selected like GitHub Copilot, and I believe it should have updated some things here so that if this would like use the new control flow syntax and no common module and ng4 and whatever. But apparently it still like randomly goes on and puts ngIfs and ng4s everywhere. So yeah, let's go to app.ts. By the way, for me, it's still quite kind of confusing that it's not app.component.ts. So let's put the product table component here, and here we will have product table. Yeah, let's see how it works. Yeah, no, wait. Do we have an error somewhere? Yeah, mock products. What's the problem here? Type strings and some type phone, laptop, tablet. Oh no, please not start with this. I'm not going to like start putting as const here so that you are satisfied. You know what? We can just do the old trick that we learned from Matt, right? You know this trick? Who knows this trick? It's a great trick. Raise your hands if you know what we just did here. Yeah, now it's fine. Yeah, we have kind of a reasonable table. Yeah, some have this rating and that rating. It's funny that all ratings are like integers, but whatever. Okay. Do I have any questions? We don't have any questions. So let's continue doing what we're doing best. We have this page now, and yeah, what can we do about it? We need to add some filters. So let's ask add filters for all fields. Let's do some vibe coding. Da, 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 da. Yeah, the coding live streams are getting more and more boring, right? Just waiting for AI to generate something. They gotta make that trick a native thing. Yeah, why not? Why not? If someone doesn't know what that trick was with the like or string and empty object, it essentially allows you to say that something can accept some value, can accept any string. Any string is okay, but the strings that came previously, like we had this phone, tablet, or laptop, those strings will be picked up by the autocomplete in your IDE. Okay, the IDE will be like, okay, maybe you want to select this strings as values here. It's like a really neat trick, especially in situations like this. You don't really care if it's any string or not, but you just know that it's got to be one of those. If you're not super strict, you just add that, and it kind of works. So I think it's stopped generating. Yeah, we can just go to the browser and see. Yeah, now we have all these fields. Does it work though? Phone. Oh yeah, it does work. Can do phone from HP or Apple. Oh, nice, nice. Gold. Okay. Wait, why didn't it work? I think there's a problem with the rating. I selected like phone from Apple, which has rating, which is a gold color, and this is rating free. Oh no, my vibe coded app has a bug. Let's fix it like manually. Yeah. Let's go to the close this. Where's the product table? We have. Oh, ouch. Why not have an object for this? Okay, if we're doing Gen AI, let's vibe code this whole thing. Like, can we do something with the make the filter fields as one object? This is a mess. I don't like this at all. I don't like vibe coded code, yeah, at all in general. Yeah, I do it a lot. But I don't like the code that comes out of it. I'm not saying you can't get the proper code if you instruct it well and so on, but yeah, okay. Okay, maybe this is better. Yeah. Okay, let's see if it continues working. Yeah, I think it works. And min price, max price maybe 1,700, but if I do, yeah, that max price, min price doesn't actually work. Oh, what did we do wrong? Tradings, ratings. Yeah, okay, we got this. Filter products. Oh no, it's a getter. This is so terrible. Bro, why didn't you just use a computed signal, man? Okay. But how does the pricing work? If there's min price, then filter matches name, matches type, matches max price. Should be matching max price. Where's the price? Where is our product type? Price is number. Should work. Let's debug for a moment. Like the product table component, yes. Oh no, this is the compiled thing. Why am I seeing the... Wait. Product table. TS. Where's the TS? Yeah, here. There we go. If we do matches max price, for example, and no debugging, how is it even working? For product of filtered products, yeah, it's a getter. So how does it know to actually update stuff? It does updates on those dropdowns. RNG model. Filter products, clear filters. But it does work. Okay. It works in terms of dropdowns, but not other fields. So if I do like pro, oh, name also works. Whatever, I don't care. What I do care is that I want to add this field. I don't want to go through all of this field and click all of these things. I want a text input. Let's just copy the one that it had, like inputs, something like this, but filter group. Maybe without this, how it works, and not a type number, and maybe not an engine model either. Yeah, and I want to do something with a resource here too. Instead of like min price, we'll have enter your search query. Search query. And yeah, this will be search query. Something like this, okay? It looks ugly. maybe we didn't need to div class filter group. Yeah, I want to type here something like, for example, like Apple laptop golden or something like that. Gold. Or even like golden. And I want it to work. Okay, I just want it to work. I want all of these fields to become automatically selected. So yeah, there's that. Let's try it. Oh man, I wish I had signal forms here, but whatever. Let's do the following. Instead, we can do something like, we don't have an engine model here, but we can do like key enter search by text, and then let's go and implement this method, and then we'll try to convert it to an Rx resource. Okay, let's inject our GenAI service. GenAI. Oh wait, what are you doing? GenAI service. Yeah. And here we can do like GenAI dot generate, and we need to be careful. Okay, we need to be careful here because we need to provide some good things. We need to give it the prompt, so we can do like input sorry by text input. Oh, maybe I shouldn't call it input. Maybe that's wrong value. What? Ah, right. Text string. So prompts we can do like text, and we need to provide a response man type of application JSON, and we need to provide the response. Oh, response is kind of hard here. We can do something like type of this dot filters. Oh, this works. So I expect this type of object. Okay. I expect this type of object. So here I can just provide the response. Wait. Response JSON schema. Oh, and now the hard part begins. But we don't have to suffer that much. Actually, there are like 2 ways, or maybe even 3 ways we can approach translating this to a JSON open JSON schema. Before I show it, let me check the comments. Oh, everyone is talking about vibe coding. Vibe coded code is great for practicing refactoring. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. I have never been satisfied vibe coding on an existing, like actually sophisticated product. Proof of concepts, great. And when I say vibe coding, please don't get me wrong. When I say vibe coding, I mean like I don't interfere with the generated code that much. If it works, I don't care. That's vibe coded app. But about in larger applications, I usually go like I plan what I need. I might convey to the coding agent, and it will do something, but I would clearly do it in simple steps. I won't just instruct it to do it in steps. I will personally do it in steps. I need control over it. I don't know, maybe I'm not gonna make it in terms of maybe vibe coding is great and I'm wrong and it's actually easy and I'm stupid for not doing it that much. But I think it's more useful for me and it saves me more time when I do it in small steps. Yeah, if I know there is some boilerplate I need to write, I'm not doing it by hand. But like a large feature that is connected with a bunch of things, I'm not sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Michael, for answering my questions for me. What is imperative resources? Yeah, here's a great response from Michael back in the stream like 20 minutes ago. I made a resource that doesn't automatically fire as it doesn't have params, only called with resource reload. Yeah, that was the idea because with Gen AI, especially like what we're doing today, the last thing you want is to generate more content as the user is typing. So I just essentially just switched that off. I made a resource that I can only trigger manually, and I did that by not providing the params. Okay. So yeah, what I want to do right now, as we saw, we wanted to add some generative UI kind of small structured output to the filters that we were doing. And we can do it in like two ways. We can go to AI Studio. Yeah, we can do like, wait, models. Let me flash the latest. And if you have never used AI Studio, here you can find all the models of Gemini that are available as APIs, except because of some recent controversies, not the open source one, like the Gemma models. But you can find all the models here and you can test it out as if you were calling the API. Super useful when you are coding stuff that involves calling LML APIs. And here you have the structured output field where you can turn this all on and then you can edit it with the visual editor. So for example, here we have this product type. So we can start adding it here. We can do like name, that is a string. And then we can do like price, that is a number. And we can do, what are fields that we have there? Like manufacturer. And actually here you can do enums and you can add enum values like oh no, we didn't do. Okay, let's keep the manufacturer field. I don't care, but we can do like type. Let's call it type. And it was like phone, laptop, and tablet. You can make it an enum, and now you can provide the values like phone, laptop, and what was the other one? I already forgot. Tablet, yes. Could have figured it out on my own. And then when I copy this, I go to code editor, I will get the JSON schema generated for me. I can just go forward and just kind of like copy this whole thing. And I'm going to do an interesting thing here, but before I get there, I need to provide this JSON schema. So what's wrong with it? Type object and ensemble to type. Ah, yeah, right. Wait, what sort of type would it be? No, not this one. Minute for type from Google Gen AI, yes. And we need to change these things. No, maybe this is a good case for using like wipe coding. Like change the to use the type enum. Let's see if it's smart enough to understand what to do. Yeah. Yeah, I think it got it. Wait, you messed it up, man. I type string, but yeah, I need to be able to provide enums here. Yeah, it just pastes. Instead of updating this, you went and yeah. Now we can do like enum. What's wrong? You know what? Because we already generated this, we can just skip this typing rigmarole and just do like as any. Will this work? Of course it works. I think we are correct here. And in terms of color, we have like the same colors as in the other thing. And rating is a number. Phone, laptop. Yeah, we have. I think we have everything needed here. Okay, and before we do anything with it, yeah, this is a big method. Let's just subscribe to it and like maybe console log it, see what's going on with it. And does it work though? Yeah, I think so. Okay, if I type like black phone. Oh, we got a response. Yeah, now our response is not great because it invented a bunch of things. So as I mentioned, these field names are kind of prescriptive. So it has to provide a manufacturer, and it just invented something. But manufacturer can just not be a required field. Actually, if you think about it, nothing here kind of needs to be a required field. Okay? Let's do black phone. Yeah. Yeah, now it just why did it give some sort of rating here? I mentioned the phone. Why didn't you return me a type? Uh, Actually, it kind of works, but we don't need to suffer that much because we didn't even actually provide a meaningful prompt. We just sent anything that the user typed. We can make this better. Let's do a prompt. Let's do create a search object based on the following query. No, actually, like we could do stuff like this, like the search object should have the following properties, blah blah. But you don't have to do it because you already described it in the schema. And actually, it is kind of detrimental if you do it. It will make the result worse. If you already have structured output, just state the instruction that you need to be performed. We can. You don't need to talk about the response format in your prompt. It will confuse the LLM. Just give the JSON schema. Now here we can mention that do not provide fields not covered by the text query. Maybe this will help. Let's try the same prompt. Like black phone response. Why does it keep returning me a rating? Black phone, black laptop. Yeah, somehow for a laptop, it realized that, okay, color is black. You see there's lots of like black magic involved in doing this AI development, you can never guess what result you will get, and you need to define kind of like thresholds for yourself that, okay, if it's this good, it's not enough for me, but if it's this good, maybe that's great. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. We could have potentially been still stuck on that method if I didn't resort to using as any. Well, I'm very sorry. If there is a fine, I will pay it. Just give me a direction. Okay, so we kind of have it. So what we can do is just we can expand this subscription. Isn't there like the subscribe field? Oh, okay. So here we can just like override previous filters with the new ones that the AI kind of inferred. Like laptop. Oh, we also have a list of manufacturers here. We could just provide that too. No? Ah, right. But again, it for whatever reason, it provided a rating too, I guess. I don't know why. Is the rating field actually required? No, no fields are required. Maybe we need to do not provide a rating unless the query explicitly asks for it. See, this is the thing that frustrates me the most about developing with LLMs. People talk about prompt engineering, and yeah, I don't want to dismiss that. It's a thing that works. You can do a lot, and I really mean a lot with prompts. But prompting isn't going to ever give you the level of control that you have with code. Okay. And now, see, I explicitly told the LLM, do not provide a rating. Okay, because it kept providing a rating field in its outputs. Let's see this approach fail spectacularly right now. Like laptop. Why is it so slow though? Does it even work? Okay, let's try again. Let's do, we have other colors. Let's do blue tablets. Are there any blue tablets? Okay, we're generating. It's generated. What did it generate? Oh, wait. Did I not like response mode tab? Did I make a mistake here or something? Did I not input this type correctly? But no, it used to work. No, this is correct. So why do I REST response? Log instant response. Let's see how it goes. Your laptop console, yeah, color blue rating 0. That didn't work though. Why did it not work? Change the filters. Have color filter filters.color. I think it should work. What did I do wrong? Color, we have like, maybe we should try some other fields. Good rating. Nothing. Now, when I explicitly mention a rating, I get nothing from the LLM. How about that? Amazing. Laptop with a good rating. He got the type. Somehow these dropdowns don't work. Oh wait, now they work. I know why this doesn't work, people. Can anyone guess why did it not work? Ay. This didn't work, but then it suddenly worked when I picked on this drop down or whatever, because I have a zoneless application and I am updating inside a subscription, inside a component that's zoneless. There's no zone.js to pick up on this subscription. This is so funny because I completely forgot that I chose the zoneless setup, and now this is amazing. This is amazing. Okay. What we need to do, actually, we need to change the filters into a signal. Let's do from scratch. Okay. Change the filters object to be a signal with the same value. Also, let's add the HTML. Yeah, we're doing complete vibe coding today. Where is the HTML? Yep. Okay. I'm going to relax a bit. I have the coding agent working for me, and we're almost there with this piece of generative UI. Let's see if it worked. I'll help you convert the filters object to a signal. Okay, this is a signal. Okay. No, stop. No. You're so wrong. Let's keep whatever we did for now and just stop it. It works with ng model as is. It does work. It's not the best approach, of course, if we had signal forms. What Claude is referring to here with the ng model, it kind of won't work this way, but it kind of will. Not exactly what we want, not exactly what we need right now, but I think it's okay. Let's check if it continues working. Yeah, now it works. Yeah, because we have a signal. And it updates your laptop blue. No zoneless issues. So yeah, we have a sort of a generative AI. UI, sorry. One fun thing that we can do with this, we can also provide like more context in this prompt. So one thing that I thought we could do is let's calculate the average price of the product. So here's the average price. And also let's calculate like the cheapest product price. Wait. Oh, okay. And maybe also the most expensive product. Okay, you don't need to do. This is wrong. Can't we just do math that mean these products map price? Yeah, why would we need that bunch of reduced code? Most expensive product price. And now we can kind of provide these fields to the when asked for price related filters, use the following price references, average product price. Yeah, we added this to our prompt when asked for price related filters. We can use the average product, cheapest product, most expensive product. Let's see if it actually changes anything. Like, let's do cheap laptop. Okay, max price 800. Is it actually like the cheapest that we have? Let's check. No. Like, what did it generate? What did we send? Prompt, cheap laptop, average product price, cheapest product price is like 749. Most expensive product price is like 2000. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. It's not great. It would be better if we could like extract that the user is asking for laptops, but we can provide like contextual data. Maybe if we type something like luxury phone, we'll get different approach to pricing. Yeah, we got min price and max price, but yeah, max price obviously needs to has clear filters and retry. It decided that luxury items are black, but nothing about price. Yeah, I hate prompt engineering, but yeah, you can get some results with it. So yeah, what we did, we provided data about our products, and we gave it a small prompt, and we kind of let the user have a simple UI element where they can just type their query, just like Amazon, and sort of get the filters pre-filled for them using structured outputs. Now, one other thing that I would like to try, but maybe not today because it's already quite late. Maybe I will do another one on generative UI. I wanted to try streaming with resources. Has anyone tried streaming? HTTP streaming, when you get like bytes from the backend and you kind of construct the message on the fly, like the thing that you would say in LM chat fields, like on ChatGPT or on Gemini. Anyone has any experience with that? Yeah, maybe next time I do this, maybe it will be next week if we don't have a guest. If we have a guest, maybe the other week I will continue because there's a bunch of things we can do. There's really a lot of things we can do with this. This is just a kind of small example. Yeah, what I want to do is I want to have a resource that kind of gets the stream from the backend and just continuously like renders the message. I will definitely try that next time. A question: what are your thoughts on the future of AI integration in our work applications? Do you mean? I mean, I assume you mean like the stuff that we are doing today, AI being used in interfaces. I think there is a lot of kind of merit to it. Well, think of it like this: in the past, like let's say 7 years ago, when you would do a front end application, right? And there is this piece of UI that it's kind of not working. Okay, it's kind of hard. Like it works, but users hate it. And it would be so great if a particular user could just like describe, I want this and that. And in the past, it was not possible. Well, it was, but you needed a team of people who would do like machine learning, who could use things like BERT or the earliest GPTs, or maybe train another model that would extract an intent from the user and understand that they want this or that. That was very expensive to integrate features like this. So companies like Google and Amazon and so on, they would have features like that. But we would not. It would be quite difficult for us. Or like stuff like recognizing images. For example, you have a field in your application. It's an enterprise application which requires the user to upload an image. And this is like an important enterprise thing. You want the user's real photo. Or maybe that's not a good example because there are privacy issues involved. But like let's say you have an application that is supposed to be a library of birds, okay, and people can upload photos of birds, but you don't want people to upload like junk that is not birds, okay? You don't want people upload cats. In the past, it would have been quite hard. You would need a team of people who understand how to do machine learning and do classification algorithms on images like convolutional neural nets and stuff like that. Today, all of that is super accessible. If you want a folder with bird pictures only allowed uploads in your application, just pick that image. If you have some money, a little bit of money, not too much, send it to an LLM and it will classify it for you and say, okay, this is a bird and this one is not a bird. Okay. So I believe a lot of AI integrations will come alive, and the important thing is that it should suit the product. It should be a good product and a good feature in itself. Right now, everyone is rushing to create like agents and like chatbots. As we have seen, we didn't do any chatbots. We did generating UIs with uh, with an LM. And you don't need a chatbot. Right now, everyone doing chatbots, but they're not super useful, not in every context. You can see that LM features can be subtle but very useful in scenarios where people don't even understand that there is an LM working on something. Like here, user might type that, okay, I want a, I don't know, expensive laptop from Apple, and the filters are there. They don't even pay attention, but their user experience is elevated. I think features like this will be important. Or if you have big data collection things and you have unstructured text and you have users that have to manually input all of that stuff, now you can provide options and say, okay, just upload it or maybe paste the text. We will try to parse it using, I don't know, Gemini API or any other LM provider. So I believe there is going to be more and more AI integrations. I just don't think all of them will be obvious. And yeah, to sum it up, it's a good thing to learn about them because, let's be frank, all of us are using LMs every day now. We generate code, we ask questions, we search for stuff. I don't know. People use them chat GPT as a psychologist or a therapist. Please don't do that if you can avoid such situation. And we are developers, we build things, and we know that AI can enhance the things that we build. So yeah, I think and I wouldn't say that LLMs or even like machine learning in general, aside from these AI things that we have, I don't think it's a backend thing. I think it can be used. It usually you need a backend to like hide your API keys and so on. But it's not a backend things in terms of knowledge. It's just you have an API, you can do stuff with it. So you are very welcome to learn about it. So yeah, feel free to check out my articles, everyone. Maybe you will find some other useful examples there. I will try to write a new one, and I'm doing my best to avoid writing about chatbots. I don't want to write about chatbots, at least not yet. I want to cover other topics that are a bit overlooked, especially by people who are not deep into the AI and LM provider things. So yeah, I think this is it for today. Maybe I need some sleep. Thanks everyone for joining. I'll let you know what I will be streaming about next week. Yeah, hope you had some fun. I didn't manage to do many examples today, but maybe next time there will be less stuff to explain and we can focus more on building things. Yeah, thanks everyone. Bye.